All right, let the other stream get up and running. And once we have them both ready to go, we can get started. Focus today will be the market. Do we have a short-term top? Maybe for the week. Definitely some earnings this week will have an impact on that. But we'll go over the chart and see what we have to work with. So let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for April 19th, 2021. We got about 45 seconds here until the close, so we'll get to see what the final numbers are. Market looks like it's trying to just bounce a little bit here. But what we did get is a little bit of a gap down today in the Qs and the SPY. We've been well aware of the grind higher, got a little bit of extension on the Qs and SPY. All right, and then with today's gap down, bias was neutral because we are selling off into some support here. So in the same way that we were looking for either a base, right, either for this to base and then break down from there, or the other scenario was we get a little bit of a bounce, produce a lower high, and then sell off from there. Those were the things that we were looking for going into the next day to potentially be bearish short term on the Qs or SPY, some kind of pivot in here. We did not get either. What did we get the next day? We gapped up. Okay. So now going into tomorrow, now that we've got a similar kind of retest of support, we're going to be looking for the same thing, right? Is this going to turn into some kind of base sideways here and then a breakdown from there? That would have to be underneath today's low. Or are we going to get a bounce, right? And then produce a lower high. And then from there, so when it's here and we get the hourly triggering the sell signal, that's where we would initiate the bearish bias. Okay. So that's what we'll be looking for going into this week to see if this top will be significant or a temporary top here for the foreseeable future here. Okay. SPY, Qs is going to be the same thing. Okay, same thing. Qs, base from here, breakdown, or move up, lower high, and then roll over. Looking at the daily, we do have some room to come in. I don't expect when we do start this off, it's going to be a fast fluid drop. It'll probably be very choppy as we go back and forth, just because this was more of a grind. A lot of small bars in here. Okay, it wasn't a fast move up. Okay, but we'll see. I thought today's trades, today's gaps were pretty tough, as you saw on the gaps list this morning. MLHR was a favorite, but very thin typically. You can see 100, 200,000 shares on the average there, and it got bought right away. So that took it off the list. HAE, which was the most impactful gap to any of the daily charts that we had, any of the gaps, was good. It just needed a $3 stop. It was also very spready here. So right at the open, there's kind of a 1 minute high low, and this really, as far as chart trades go, was the trade of the day there. Okay, if you stuck around past the morning, there were some scalps here and there as well, but kind of, this was the one. So you can see here, lots of consolidation that's been going on for a long time here on the HAE. A little bit of back and forth there, testing the bounds, higher, lower, and then gapping underneath. A nice 200 there, ending the uptrend for sure after retesting major support. So bit of a miss here on the HAE, but it wasn't easy either. Very spready and really big stop. So it's hard to know, on something like this $3 stop that it is going to go. I think it went like $15 from that entry. So, the expectation is with earnings season picking up this week and then peaking into next week that, we'll get some better gaps. Monday is typically the least active day for me. So the fact that today there wasn't a lot to do, yeah, what was really good was just not really all that playable. I did try the TTCF as well, TTCF, but it became hard to borrow before my entry triggered. The first time I did try and couldn't get a fill on it in the morning, the TTCF. And then I tried it again, and then at this point, then all my orders were getting rejected because it was no longer available. Or I think it was under 94. Yeah, so it was actually first here on a sell setup. I can show you where the sell setup is. On a sell setup in here, here, and then I waited for the secondary entry. So sell setup, secondary entry. Underneath that, right there was the first try, no fills, and then put an order in, waited for this to base, and while this was basing, it said no longer available and canceled my order for me. So the TTCF I liked a lot, liked the daily, very, very bearish. You can see it had a green bar that's gapping underneath and support that it's clearing. So unfortunately, you know, had some good ideas and some good approach on things, but it just liquidity and availability, you know, made it a little bit tougher today. Okay. Hope you did well, though. We'll be back at it tomorrow. I'm hoping that, or I'm pretty sure, once we get some more gaps and some more things reporting earnings, we'll have some better charts to work with. Okay. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good evening.